something familiar to us as a team here and try to build something that's already been built, actually. It's known as the McCormick Spice Mill project. Um, but we're just going to kind of roll through some of the real world scenarios here where you get some of the information in. So you've got your workbook and you've got your SAL. I'm going to give you a little bit of the rundown down here on the McCormick SAL. You know, we have our site location of where it's going to be. We've got our project outline information here, which if we read over our project outline that we're going to be doing installing 6 Cat 6 new Cat 6 drops. We're going to be installing 6 new WAPs. And then also in here, that's also included that would be running some patch panel and the wiring for those wires. And then we're going to remediate or replace an existing WAP. So we have one existing AP that we're going to be replacing. So we know some basic premise of what our project is entailed. Now, it did so happen from this project that we did have a wireless report. So that's kind of a nice thing that we were going into this. So we knew some of this data here from our Spice Mill wireless survey report. Sometimes you're provided a wireless report, sometimes not. And under our wireless report, we have recommendations. As you know, as we saw in that project scale there at the SAL, we had 6 new APs, and then we're going to be replacing new ones. The wireless survey gave us the new proposed locations for the APs. Now, we were able to get back with the sales executive and the solutions and wireless team, and then we were able to get a new set of a set of plans that are better than what you see here in the wireless report. So we had some plans sent to us. With those, we were working with here. In fact, that's a good point here. I don't have the wireless plans for Spice Mill right yet. We had a couple of files we knew going into it. We knew we had a contractor safety orientation that our employees needed to go through before we went there. So we had a lot of files that we definitely wanted to make sure were included in this project. And so we'll just start from the beginning. So I have a lot of my detail. I have a lot of my documentation and stuff. I have my set of plans. And from here, I'm just going to go start at my templates in the top here section under templates. And I know going into this project, because I'm looking at the SAL here, this is a process project. That's kind of how I confirm that. And we have 2 templates. The main difference between the templates was, you know, the logo essentially. So we're gonna go ahead and just create a process networking project template. So this particular location, I know where this location is at in the time zone of the project. It's the Eastern. It's in the Northeastern region. If I don't mess with any of the tasks or statuses at this point, I'm not going to. I know that this is a template, so I'm just going to go with it. And plans, files, forms. I don't have anything specific that I want to get in there right now. I could, at this point, if I wanted to add a new file to this, and in fact, I will. I'll go ahead and add one of these files that I wanted to get into this project at the infancy here. I'll say add files.
One call out there, Glenn, though, this is for the template. So you probably
Okay,
wouldn't want to add
yeah,
that there.
I won't mess with it yet. Right.
Yeah.
I won't mess with that yet. So I'm just going to call it here and just say, hey, new project.
And I think something just to note there, since this is the template, for the most part, you won't make any specific changes for the project here. You'll just use the template to set this project up, and then any specific changes that you want to make to your project, you'll do inside the project.
So we're going to call this example project right now for training. Now, we would want to name the project, the account and the project name, obviously. In the code area, it's best that we put in our WBS number so we have that number available for future reference. I don't even know what that number would be. We're going to say that's the example. And we're going to start with this process network project template. Now, what we're going to do here is if we have our set of plans, which I'm going to see if I have my set of plans real quick. I don't have plans for McCormick. You know what? I'm just going to add this one here for right now. All right. So I had dropped my plan in there for the site. For me, I'm not going to mess with any of my categories here, but I could change some of my categories, delete some of them. The categories I was kind of knowing it going into this, if I have a new install category, a remediate AP, so I have new APs, remediate APs. So there's ways that I know that I've got some pretty good categories here. I'm going to invite team members to this section. Let's see what we can do there with this. Yeah. Right now, I'm not going to add any team members.
If you just want to add my in there real quick,
Yep.
Glenn, be great. Perfect. And then just make sure to update that member to admin. Perfect. Thanks.
All right. All right. So I've invited him as an admin. This is my number. It can text me a link to download the app, but I don't need to do that. I already have the app. So that presets my plans. I've got plans are set up here in all plans. This is a markup that already had some dot locations here. So we're gonna just work with that for right now. I like going ahead and once my plans are set, I like going into the specifications and adding my specifications. I'll put in the SAL. So I like going into here, adding my SAL, added files. Now, adding the SAL into the specifications allows me to pinpoint certain information in the SAL that I want everybody to be able to see. The project outline, maybe I would want to see them, I'd like for them to see like the site location, those type of specifications within the SAL. And this is where I can pinpoint that, but I'm going to go ahead and let that load. And then I go on to the next thing. So tasks, I'm looking at my tasks here and I go make sure I'm on all tasks because I don't have any task going on right now. For me, I'm probably I'm gonna go ahead and set up some of my other stuff though because I like waiting. Go ahead and set up a lot of my formal files and things with the project before I try to start diving into tasks. There are no photos for me to load for the project right now. Forms I can't start a form without going to my address settings and setting up the address for this. And this is in the bottom corner here, this little sprocket in the bottom left-hand corner, but this will fast path you to that same spot. Here in the project address, I'm going to go ahead and put where I know the address of this is going to be is, can I copy that? There we go. And then this will go ahead and map it for me. I don't have to mess with any of the other settings for the project. All I had to do was change my location. If I wanted to add people, I could add people down here. I think there is an easy way to do, if it's possible to do it this
Yeah,
way.
you should be able to paste like a bunch in there at once. There you go. Perfect. Awesome.
So everybody comes in as admin. If you go back to your home page and refresh in the Fieldwire homepage, you should see it pop up under my projects here. Just go ahead and hit refresh, but you should have this example project for training come in. Forms, I like to go ahead and start some form stuff, especially this risk analysis form for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and create a risk analysis form and name that risk analysis form for the location. We're going to call this McCormick Spice Mill Wrath. If I had any little bit of detail, I would probably know anything about risk analysis going into this at the inception of discovery. And this may be something that if our teams that are building pre-survey, whether, like our designers, if we know some inception risks, we go ahead and put it in here in this form. This particular location, I'm not going to be doing a survey with a rack evaluation, but it may come into play at some point if I need them like a one of the technicians to give me a rack evaluation on one of the MDFs they're working in, and they can have this and fill out this particular form. The JHA template, I definitely want to make sure that I've got my tech assigned to this first new template form. So I usually just go ahead and put it in here, JHA day 1. Now keep in mind here that even though I created this form, that is still assigned to me. And later on, I'll have to assign that to who needs to fill it out. But that gives me some of my basic forms, site information form. This is a good one to go ahead and put in here, McCormick. And this is for this site information form can have access to, you can give this access to your technician, and this can be used as a site survey at the very beginning or as a site environment form for them to fill out formally as a survey, but it just gives all those PPE and requirements and gets the tech to fill out any kind of information. If you know some of the site contact information for the technician up front, then you can put that here of who their point of contact is going to be. Warren Block, we don't know their cell phone number, and that can be stored here in this document for them. So that's kind of the preset stuff I would set up with a form. There's daily site reports. I know that we're probably going to be able to knock this out in 2 days. So I'm going to probably just go ahead and create another daily site form. Site report, daily site report, day 1. All right. So once he gets out there, this is a kind of something they can fill out at the end of the day and send it to me. If we're not updating the customer in some other form or fashion, this is where the technician can get in here, add entry of work log, like you know, hey, we had this technician on site for 10 hours, this technician on for 10 hours. We used this material, we had this activity, we did this, and we're 50% done. So this can be a nice daily log that can be filled out. If you have a multi-day job project that you're doing. So for here, once again, I'm going to go back to my task, my specifications. I'm going to review my upload on this. In this document here, I am going to create a few modifications. I'm going to call this number. I just call it site location. And this, you'll see what it does here. Title and Spice Mill site location. And this is 2 through page 2, confirm section. All right. So now in the specifications here, this is a resource that you can go here, and on page 2, I got my site location, and then they don't see the rest of the specifications. I've called out that page 2 for them to see, the technician to see, and then titled it. Files, we already have quick tech reference guide here is loaded in for them. So we don't have to worry about them referencing or have this reference on colors, things like that. And let's go to plans. So for me, I like the best approach for me is to kind of look at the plans and add tasks to the plans as I see it. So I'm going to pretend like here,
Put a blank in.
here's what's that? You did? Where?
Well, I put it in, sent it to you in text, never mind,
In chat?
Yeah.
Ah,
in our chat.
oh, okay. Hang on one second. I kind of like this one. I'm just going to stick with this one. Okay, so I know that this was AP 31. This is a new AP. We have some conduit here that's going to be going up to the AP and the runs. It looks like we got about MDF location, IDF location. Got 209 feet to AP 35. We got 34 plus 60, about a 90-foot run to AP 31. So I'm going to create a task here at this new AP. So I'm installing a new AP here. So I like using the engineering tool task here, and I just drop it on the AP itself. And then this gives me a blank slate. For me, we're just going to say it's an install AP. So it's a AP install device is the status. I'm going to call this install, or I like AP 31 installation. That gives me a name for the task here. For me, I'm going to go look at checklist because this is an AP installation. I'm going to add a checklist, create a new checklist. No, I'm going to say add existing checklist. Yeah. So I have some preset checklists here. Install new AP checklist. So I'm going to go ahead and just add this checklist. And it gives me a pretty good, checklist of what to do when installing this AP, and the information that we want to get from it. So it's going to say, hey, I need a wide angle AP before install, after install, modify drawings, penetration points on the markup, MAC address. So at the end of this, in this checklist, I want to add a photo of the serial. I want to add a photo of a Cat 6 line pass test. What about, I need to rename the task to the correct AP ID name. So right now this is AP 31, and I know on the map that I want this task to be renamed to the actual host ID of the AP. So I've written in the checklist for the technician to modify the task name to change it to that host name ID. And then once they're done, they hit at complete and then it'll finalize it. I'm going to
Hey.
check over here. Yes, go for it.
It looks like Omar has a good question. Just about adding Omar, maybe just to clarify, do you mean like adding, like doing like a bulk upload and then dragging and dropping those task pins onto
Yeah,
specific
like
locations?
yeah, like I know, for example, I'm gonna be installing 50 AP, so I can put all my tasks, all the 50 AP tasks, and I start pinning through the right location where I want to install that AP, but I have to do it one by one.
Okay, I'll show that to you next then. Let's get through this right
Perfect.
here and then we'll do a quick import.
Cool.
All right, so here I can modify my checklist that I want my technician to do. Here I got my status. It's an install AP. I've got a category here that I got to choose a category. Now, this particular category I'm going to call a new install. It's not a remediate AP. There is a map, and you can see that it's attached to the map, and the task is pinned out right there. I don't have multiple locations here, but if I had multiple, I would, as far as site locations.
Glenn, do you mind highlighting real quick? We also like the custom task attributes. I'm thinking maybe for putting in like your MAC address or something that could be a helpful, like
Yeah,
just showing them how to do that. Or do you think that makes sense in this case?
we can do that, sure. And that has been used as a resource for putting stuff in there too. Yeah, but I'll show you in a little bit here. So, all right, there's no, on this particular task, I don't put a start date or end date on it. I don't know it right now. I don't put any manpower, even though this is here. I could assign a manpower to this, as far as like estimation to help me out in estimation whenever I'm doing this. In fact, I would think, oh, it's going to take me an hour to install this AP. So it gives me an hour, so I can associate it with that. And then that's it. That's my task. I've built my task for the installation for the AP. There are other ways that you can import multiple tasks all at once. And you do it by going to the tasks layout and you go to import tasks. Now, in import task, you're able to put in the preset information that you want and XY positioning if you knew it, or the plan. So, I'm going to give you a quick tour of that right here. So this also, what comes preset in these templates under files is this task import form. So if you download this task import form, it is a blank file that replicates the import. So if you want to download this Excel file, it's a little bit easier to use and stuff. So for here, I would say like AP 30, 32, AP 33, and then I could essentially take this and create all of my APs. My status is install, or it has the match. Your import has the match what's going on in your task for it. So I'm going to say this is AP device installation is the status. AP device device install. And I'm going to copy that one because these were all new APs and paste. Copy. Categories. I'm going to add multiple. The category is going to be, what did I have this one at? New install. So if I go back here and I go new install, And then if I know what plan it's going to be associated with, which like this one here, I know it's Spiceville. This was the name of the plan. I can put the name of the plan in here as well. Now, if I use my importer, I can simply go in here and, copy paste into the import template. So I go back here, go to import tasks. I hit Control V. And then it loads it up. If something is not properly done, it'll give you this little red thing. And then it's usually because something has not been properly spelt, or you got something not right with the wording. But now that it's not red, I can soup in all of these tasks onto this plan. So I go import tasks, and all of them come up here. Now, as I'm looking in my task lineup, I see that there's a teardrop here and a diamond here. The teardrop, I know if it looks like a teardrop, it's been mapped and it's literally on a map. If it's a diamond like this, I know it's assigned to a map, but not physically put on the map. And I'll show you what that means. So if I go to my plans and I look at my plans here, then I'm going to see that AP31 is over here, but I've only got one task sitting here. So as I'm going through here, I know that I got AP35. I can simply take this task and then drag it onto the AP. So now it's mapped. And I can do that across the board here with all of these AP locations. I can say AP34, there it is, voila. AP36, voila, it's there. Now, whenever I imported it, I was an idiot and I didn't go, and all of these tasks don't have checklists now. So I created it, AP install, new install, the right name, but I didn't put in the checklist. And so if you go back into your task, I was an idiot and didn't go all the way down here to the back and put the checklist in there.
I think there's a couple of good questions, Glenn, just around checklists actually in the chat.
Yeah.
That first one, it looks like, can you move one of the tasks to the top or bottom of the checklist? Mila, do you mean like, can you move like the checklist around a bit, like change the order of the items in the checklist?
There you go. Yes, I
Okay.
couldn't hear that. Right.
All good. I just want to make sure I understood it. Yeah, that it when you're using like a template, like Glenn, if you just want to click on add checklist template real quick again, like those all are just going to be in its existing order.
Mhm.
You can preview them, like and then you can make those changes like in here, like beforehand. So you can go into, and this would be, you wouldn't be doing it from here, you do it in like the settings of the project. So if you want to like change that before you add it to the task, you can do that. Otherwise you can delete individual items and then add them back in at the bottom or something. So there's a little control. Yeah. So if you can go in here to the settings, you can make changes before. That's what I recommend doing before you add it into a task. Make the changes in the template first.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And then that was another question. It looks like, can you rearrange the checklist steps? If you want to just like click out of that again real quick, Glenn, you can delete individual items if you wanted. So if you click out of that again and just into the original task, like you can like that, yeah, little settings, you can like edit that or delete it. So you can like edit individual items if you wanted to kind of reorder them. It's not like a dragging and dropping, but you can either delete them or you can like reword them if you want.
You really want to get this kind of fine-tuned up before you start doing mass
Totally.
importation,
Yeah.
This is why, like I would go through this AP31 and make sure, I make sure this checklist is 100%, and it's part of this it's part of this formal checklist that's in here. Because
Yeah.
after I've messed with this first one and made it perfect, then I know, yeah, everything looks good. Now let's go to import, and I don't do stupid stuff like forget the checklist. Or if I mass import a checklist and it's not been thoroughly vetted, then you've got 100, tasks that have the wrong checklist in it or not modified. So you definitely want to make sure that before you do importation, that you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's.
Yep. And I'll also highlight on that note, actually, that the statuses and categories, like figuring out what you want your statuses to look like for, your workflow in this project. Like this one made sense for this project, but Glenn, maybe you can speak to that, like just how to think through maybe
Well, we got it
like,
here. So we've got a few. You are now part of the project, right? So let's do this. I'm going to do another thing here. Actions, delete these tasks. We're going to go in here. This checklist thing, we're going to get rid of that. I'm going to delete this too. Okay. Import tasks. 31. 32. I'm obviously trying to make this as all right. Plans. Checklist. Where was the name of that checklist again? Settings. Right here. I gotta go manage my checklists. Where'd it go? Right there. So this is the name. I wanna keep this name. Checklist. All right. We're only going to do 6 of them. Wait. I think that's what I wanted to do here for this right now.
cool.
And then that'll import everything that gives us those two. Go here. Plans, tasks. I go back to my importer. Control V. I did that thing again where I wrote that wrong.
I think it has a space at the end or something.
Yeah. No. Okay. Did this thing come up? All right. Yeah. Checklist came up. All right. Import. All right.
Nice.
So I imported the tasks. I go to my plans. I find my locations of my IPs. I say 34 and 32. Not really concerned too much here. 35. Got 36. 33. Sure. We'll go with that. So I've plotted all of them on my maps and I go my tasks and they're all AP install here. We can generate reports right now with some of our presets, and we're going to see what our fully detailed report looks like at this point. The fully detailed report is the maps and all the tasks associated with it. So I can go ahead and see what this looks like from a reporting status. So if I add checklists here, it's got this long flow of checklists in it. It's got my site AP here. It gives me a map association with it. So I know what my reporting starts looking like as I go into this. As I go through the checklist here, I know that I'm going to be adding them to want to put some flow of photos and things like that and make markups and changes. And then as that happens and they get their stuff done, then it gets into a completed status. So I have, for sake of argument here, we got 5 APs. We've got them on the plan. And right now we've got tasks associated with them. If we had some cable run tasks, we would have those here. Termination and testing task could go here. Is there any way that you could show us visually what some of this may look like from your end of things here? I'm going to add a few files.
From my
that
end?
will be, yeah.
Sure.
That
On the
would
mobile
be-
side of things?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just so they have an idea, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get in here into the plane, into these tasks. I'm going to
Yeah,
go
why don't you-
ahead and batch edit and assign them over.
Perfect.
Batch edit, and then I'm going to assign those over to Dylan Reed. Make sure to save these changes. And so now all of those are assigned over to you. I'm going to add, I'm going to make a change here because we didn't have any survey, but I would like to have a particular category that I use for site information. That I'm using back and forth to the technician. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a change here and change this particular workflow part to site information. I'm going to add a new task here and assign, I'm going to assign Dylan some site information. I'm going to make sure that he's got some of these forms and he fills these forms. So I have an existing form. I'm going to look for my site, daily site report for sure, and site info form, attached forms. Please fill these out. So Dylan now has a few tasks assigned to him. I'm going to make sure those forms, once again, the forms, the site info form, make sure that it's assigned to Dylan. And I see that this form is associated with a task. So if I need to go take a look at that task, and I like the daily site report, the site info form, I'm going to make sure that that's filled out, and the site info form, daily site report, go take a look at it. Daily site report, make sure that Dylan is assigned to the daily site report. All right. I think that's pretty good, Dylan. We got you some tasks. We take a look at what it looks like?
Yep, let's do it. So I was trying to make my notifications turn on, but there should be a notification that will come through on your mobile device if you have like notifications enabled. For whatever reason, mine were on, so I didn't get those initial notifications, but I can still go into the app here, and I have a little like icon setting up here on the top left, and it will show those things that Glenn assigned to me. So that's a good place to check. I can go in there, and then I can click into that task here that he assigned to me. And then looks like, please fill these out. Let's see. So site info from here. Is there a form that you attach to this one, Glenn?
Yeah,
Please fill
it's
out all the
probably
different
still loading.
Okay, cool. We'll start with just going through a task real quick. But from here, very similar layout to like what it looks like on the web version. But I can just start going through and clicking, filling out these checklists. If there's any issue with it, I can click it twice. If it's not applicable, I can click it 3 times. But I'm just going in and starting to fill that out. The other thing, so I can see from here, like these are my tasks. So if I ever just wanted to come into the project and filter out Obviously, there's not a ton of tasks on the project anyways, but the My Tasks is a great option to filter down just to like, as a tech, just look at what you need to be looking at. The other thing is like similar if you're just looking at a plan, you know, you can zoom in, find some of these, you know, if you're walking on site and I'm like over at this AP31, I can easily pull it up from the plan as well. So from here, I can continue to add any additional information. I can snap a photo, just like choose the camera option here, just snap a quick photo in there, just as an example. That's going to automatically upload there. I can also just do, you know, add a little text in here. I could do talk to text and say,
Excellent. I've been notified.
hey, Glenn, can you hear me? Did my
Yeah.
audio get messed up?
Yeah, your audio went out there.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me go back to sharing my screen here.
Okay.
I think it was using the talk to text feature. So yeah, I'm just going through, continue to complete this. Did you, Glenn, are you in this workflow as a tech? Would I change the status to complete, or is that something that you'd like to do on your end?
Actually, I've got the stat of the tech in this checklist changing it, you know, noted at the end there to at completed.
Perfect. That's right. There you go. So from
Um,
here, I can go ahead and edit that, change my status to completed, and then looks like you've added in those nice photos. Awesome. I can actually delete that photo, but pretty straightforward. I'm just going through, and I mean, I have a nice checklist to fill out on my mobile. I can add in photos, add in a little text. Everything is just available, like everything's set up for me to go in the field and like complete that work. Any questions just on that kind of like task portion of filling out those tasks that get assigned to the field techs? Yeah, Omar.
Sorry, wrong button.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right.
Can you show how to do a little bit of drawing or on those maps and understand the engineering tool set there real quick?
For sure. Yeah. So on the right-hand side, that markup toolbar, it's just that little arrow. You have a couple different tools. You have like lines. So if you want to show like, you know, different like cable runs or anything like that, you can do that. You can choose different colors. So if you want to set like a standard kind of template to use, like certain colors indicate certain things, you can do that. And so I can do, you know, I'll choose this one, and then I'm just dragging that line down, dragging it over. Oh, I'm gonna undo that one. Zoom in here. Kind of get the idea.
Can you
You also
hyperlink a
have
photo?
what?
Hyperlink a photo onto that thing?
Yep, for sure. Do you want photos to be done in tasks typically or on plans as well? I'll go ahead and show that. But yeah, so for putting a photo just directly onto a plan, there's a little hyperlinking option here. So you can do files or photos or forms. So I'm just going to choose the photo one, drop the photo icon here, click on that, and then just take a quick photo. snap that guy. And then I have it linked directly onto the plan. So similar to how I snapped a photo in a task, you can also just put a photo directly onto a plan.
If any of y'all have this open, you can immediately, you should be able to go out to those plans. And so in real time, so I'm going to go out to the plans, go to the Spice Mill. I see he has his little eyeball in the middle there, and instantly I can see that photo if you're following along.
Yeah, this should all be live updating and pushing out to you. And you guys can do this. You guys can also practice like adding them on here as well.
I did ask about moving icons. Phil got to move icons.
Can you show how to move an icon?
It's not the easiest to do in the field version, to be honest. It's easy to drop a pin, but it's not like, let's see. Let me see if, let's see, moving. Like
So
you can move,
little...
you can move around the markups, but the actual task pins, you can't move around like that. I think, hold on one sec. Let me see. That might not actually be true.
Try it.
Let me see. Oh no, we can change that.
Yeah,
that
so
duplicated.
we were using this feature as an issue here that, you know, we would do these wireless surveys, and where they plotted it, the markup ended up not being exactly, the AP was not installed where the wireless was on the report was going to say. So we had them move the task to the actual location of where they installed the AP. Because we were dropping tasks on top of that AP. And so whenever they ended up finding it's like you know, it's a hallway over, they would move the task to where they actually installed the AP. And then
Yeah,
later on, we were able to make those modifications on our plans.
Let me see this real quick. So if okay, perfect. Got it. Yeah, that's actually a recent update that you can move it directly. So that's awesome. Yeah, good call out there.
What files can you see or have access to?
So the PDF one, I can easily pull that up in the field. This is, yeah, that's perfect for the field tech guys. And you can actually read it. The task importer, you're not gonna be able to view an Excel form like in Fieldwire. It would just download it. So any files that you want to have like viewable on mobile will need to be, or even just in Fieldwire in general, will just have to be like PDFs.
Yeah. We have used like a Google Drive link or a Google Doc link in the task.
Uh-huh.
And we were able to then share a Google Doc, you know, in the tasks.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend. So like, yeah, like Glenn's saying, like if you want to share a live, spreadsheet or doc that you want people to be working off of, you can put a link into a task just in the messaging field here, and paste that link there, and then it'll be a live link that you can click on that will take you to whatever that doc is. It's a good call out. I know we're pushing up on time here, we're about actually at time, but just quickly, so those forms, like the ones that Glenn wanted me to fill out, let me see if I can pull this up in here. So perfect. So this daily site report, this is awesome. They're attached to this task, and he had assigned the task to me. So I'll click into here. I can see these. I'll open it up, and then it takes me into the draft state of this form, so I can start filling this out. The daily report, the weather will automatically populate based on like the address. So that's good to go there. And then I can just start doing similar thing, filling out my checklist here, adding any notes that I have. I have my work log, equipment log, all those different things. These are all kind of like table entries. So you can continue to add, entries as you go. They're like, yeah, so you can add as many entries as you want in each one of these table sections. And then you also have like an attachment field and a signature. So full, just comprehensive daily report there, and then site info form as well. But yeah, pretty straightforward for filling out. I like that workflow of like attaching it to a task and then assigning a task, because that gives like a good way of tracking it and notifying that person. So I think doing like that, a site info, task or something that you assign to somebody is a great workflow.
Great.
Glenn, anything else to touch on the mobile side?
No.
Cool. How are we doing on questions?
Looking pretty good here. Plan placement be modified from the tech. Floor
think-
plan.
I think we just answered that.
Yep.
I got an answer for that. We're good.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Let me do a quick last minute session here. We've got basically the last thing to report on is, the task, and you'll see that they flow from left to right to completion status. So right now, if I were going to report at the end of the day, I would go to my generate reports. I would look at my daily completion report. Take a look at the different credentials. It's in anything that's in completed status. Gives me all the checklists, photos. Right now it is scheduled. It is scheduled Monday through Friday, but I don't have a recipient address for it. For right now, I'm just going to download. I'm going to send now and be able to download that report. So this gives me my daily completion report. So I know created today. The dates are today. This is what was done today, was a new install, AP32. It has all my photos associated with that installation and the map. All of the photos are hyperlinked. And these reports can be sent to PMO. They can be sent to anybody that we want to send them. We would want to make sure that we don't send out things that look not complete. If you send out something that's a checklist and only 3 or 4 of them are checked off and not all of them, then people start questioning why, even though they didn't have to do it. There was no reason for them to do it. If it doesn't look like it's complete, then don't send it to somebody. That's all I got to tell you.
Good question at the end. Veronica had just about verified tasks disappearing. They do disappear. That's a setting in the project. Glenn, if you just want to go over into the settings there, yeah. So right now it's set to archive after 365 days, but you can change that to be like only a few days or like up to 10 years. So if you click that drop down, it should give you all the different options. Yeah.
The new templates come with our templates come with 365 days. The
Perfect.
defaulted template came with like 7 days or something before.
Yeah, and it's gone.
Yeah, so
way too
but if
quickly.
you change this, it'll soup those tasks back up.
Yeah,
It'll
exactly. You
reestablish
can
them.
always tweak that. If they're gone and you need to go find them, you can always change that setting right there, and everything. Yeah, like Glenn said, will pop back up again.
Yeah. All right. How many people
Cool.
dropped off?
Oh, we still got a
Wow,
decent amount.
17. Man. Okay. Well, I would say this as well. After your technician gets done through, checks everything off, they change over to complete. You'll see these things, your workflow go into completed status. And if you wanted to generate a final report, you could create a final report, or you could just roll with your daily completion report. And then this would give you all the projects and everything that were completed. One thing to note here is any task that you complete, it maintains that color. So like on this map, the teardrops, all of your tasks that are located on here, colors do apply. So just keep that in mind.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think Mila had a good question actually, just at the bottom, it looks like, and she'd asked it before too. What about creating a check-in to site task, which is like you can totally create a check-in to site, like just do a new task. I mean, please fill these out. That's one that's a little similar to like a check-in to site one. But yeah, you could do a new task, check into site, assign it to the foreman. I don't know what our category, but yeah, site information, perfect. And you could even have a little checklist of things that need to be completed with this, if you wanted. But
Yeah. Add a checklist. Create a new checklist, report to Jamie at the front desk.
perfect. And then, yeah, you could assign that to them. And actually, if you want to assign that to me real quick, I'll show you. I'm actually getting my notifications coming through now. So like on the mobile side here, I get that. And I'll share my screen here.
Yeah, that mobile thing.
Let's see, give me one sec. Perfect. Okay, so I'll share that again. So now I'm getting, I don't know why that's popping up, but I'm getting those notifications coming through here. And now super easy. Like if I'm the, site tech that gets assigned to me, I can just go ahead and click into this and it'll take me directly into that task. And I have all that information ready to go. And I can just fill that out really quickly. Cool. Did that answer your question, Mila?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, I know we're a little bit over time, but
Yeah.
anything to add on, Glenn?
No, I think that was the fastest fly through you could possibly do of this.
Yeah. I think hopefully this was super helpful. I think this is probably really good to see like what that, actual scenario might look like. But yeah, if you have any follow-up questions, reach out to Glenn or myself, and then we have one more training, I think, that's just probably going to be more Q&A style. So any questions you guys have, or if we didn't get to anything, we'll have another session next week to dive into, just kind of dedicate to an open Q&A. Cool.
I appreciate it, Dylan.
Thanks, Glenn. And yeah, thanks everyone for hopping on. Appreciate it. All right.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye everyone.